Hey everyone, welcome back. We are in the tiny garden today on the most beautiful spring morning. It is so nice to finally see that the rain has stopped. I have completely neglected this space, so I'm going to go in, give everything a massive tidy and plant out a few of my seedlings. I'm going to build a frame for my sweet peas, and I'm also going to build an A-frame for some beans and mange too to grow up. And I'm really feeling excited today because I feel like it's been a slow start to spring. Everything feels a little bit cold and a little bit wet, and I usually have quite a bit growing in the ground at this time of year, and at the moment I have absolutely nothing. All I have is what's overwintered from last year, which is obviously gone to seed as it started to warm up and it's been in the ground for so long. So all of my salad bits have completely gone. My kale has obviously gone to seed as well, but it has given some absolutely beautiful flowers for the bees and pollinators, and I've never had them in the garden quite so early in the season. So I'm definitely seeing the benefit of trying to bring in more flowers to promote obviously pollinators in my garden. My tulips survived the winter and the late planting in January, and they have shot out of the soil with a beautiful burst of colour. I'm so thrilled with them. I'm just only sad I didn't have enough to fill the space because it does look a little bit sparse, but what has popped through looks amazing. And even some of those tulips, when I did plant them, were ever so slightly squishy, and they have completely come through. So I'm thrilled with that because I really didn't have any faith in those bulbs when I planted them back in January, because that was a little bit late. As I headed out this morning to take Rue for her morning walk to stretch her legs and burn off some of her energy, I noticed in the garden how much stuff has literally burst into life. I can't believe I've actually only just noticed it now. I think I've been so focused on the allotment that I've just literally have not taken any notice of the home garden. So the raspberry has just started to bud. It looks absolutely amazing. And this was so productive last year, and I only had 2 canes, 1 in each container. And this year I'm looking like I have a few extra canes per pot. So I'm hoping my harvest is like at least double what I had last year. The cherry tree is almost in full blossom. This is actually a fruiting cherry tree. I didn't get any fruit off it last year because it got completely taken over by cherry aphid, but I'm going to get some neem oil on hand just in case that happens again. But there are clusters of buds ready to explode, and then there's just a beautiful confetti of white starting to emerge over all of the branches, and it is one of my favorite times of year to see this tree in full bloom. It does bloom actually after the plum tree, so when the plum tree's finished, the cherry tree starts, so it's a really nice transition, and you kind of feel like spring is finally here and it's ready to start your spring garden. So I really like that. And I also have some amazing little buds on top of my blueberry plant, which is so amazing. I do need to go and get some ericaceous feed for those to give them a little bit of a boost and make sure their nutrients and soil balance is perfect. But other than that, everything's looking like it's ready to get going. So when I came back from walking Rue this morning, I headed straight indoors to bring out all my seedlings on the Seedling Shuffle. So I've been hardening off my plants there for the last week or so, just so they don't get a shock when I plant them out, which is today's plan. So I'm building a sweet pea frame so I can plant up my sweet peas. I'm going to direct sow a few bits and build a frame for my climbing mange too, borlotti bean and my French beans. I haven't decided whether I'm going to do French beans here or at the allotment, but I'm definitely going to have an array of beans. I also brought back some broad bean plants that I had sowed up at the allotment. I didn't plan to have this many broad beans. It was a pure test just to see if there was any rodent problems still up at the allotment, and they would just go in and they would obviously steal the little broad bean seed. They would obviously take it, dig it up and take it. But actually none of them got taken. Everything germinated. And what I decided is in my patio bed, in one of them, I have half of it filled with broad beans that were sown in November last year that have overwintered beautifully. They've actually started to flower. And I'm going to actually fill the rest of that bed with the plants that I've brought home from the allotment. So that means I'm able to have 2 types of harvests, because if anybody knows me, they know I absolutely love broad beans. So I'm able to have 2 types of harvests. So I'm going to have ones that go completely into pod, create the big broad bean itself. I'll let some of those go to seed so that I have broad beans for next year, but also I have some for eating. And I'd love to try a broad bean falafel. So that's the idea behind that. But I also would like to pick broad beans when they're young, and they come a little bit quicker than your French beans. So they kind of act as like a little interim dupe until your French beans come ready. And I absolutely love that, just picking them off, sauteing them up and throwing them in a salad or any dinner, to be fair. But I used to put them in salad because obviously all the salads started coming through, and that's kind of what I was pairing together. So I'm thinking I can have 2 styles of harvests from those 2 plants. So we're going to plant those out today, and they are looking absolutely luscious. I'm going to clear down the space that's in the main growing area so it looks nice, and this is going to act as a little container garden for the moment until I'm able to buy my greenhouse. I have picked a greenhouse, I'm set on it. It's going to be galvanized steel with a thick polycarbonate coating over the top, like the plastic is thick polycarbonate. And the reason I've gone for this one is because I only want to buy it once. So I'm hoping by investing in this piece that is a little bit more expensive, that I will hopefully last me in years to come. And when I move from here, I can take it with me, and it just becomes kind of a little bit of a lifetime garden piece. So I'm able to pick the colour of it and all sorts of different pavers that can go in the bottom of it. But it would be a little while before I have the money aside so I can actually purchase that. So hopefully I'm aiming for about maybe latest July time, but it could be a little bit later, just depending on how things go and what things need me to place my budget where in terms of the garden and the allotment. But that's the overall plan. So there will be a growing space. It'll be very different obviously to last year where I had an in-ground bed, but it will obviously act as a beautiful little container garden where I can pop my tomatoes out. It gets the most sunlight. So hopefully I'll have some beautiful harvests and a cute little container garden to tide me over until my greenhouse goes in. So without further ado, I am going to crack on with some of today's projects and bring you along. Let's get going. Although I say I neglected the garden, this space hasn't really needed much doing to it since I made up the new flower bed. I'm going to give everything a good sweep and clear out all of the overwintered veggies that have gone to seed. Now that the beds are empty, there is nothing more I like than a freshly mulched bed. It's one of my gardening guilty pleasures. With the new bed mulched and looking beautiful, it was time to plant out my gorgeous broad beans. I'm so thrilled at how healthy these look, and it's going to fill up the space nicely. I decided to pop a little bit of bark onto the flower bed to dress the tulips and set their blooms off. I will spread the rest of this bag onto the ground in the main growing area. Things are really starting to feel like spring. I just thought I would take a little breather from all of the bending and shoveling and digging to chat to you guys about today's giveaway, which is to celebrate the first birthday of the channel. So for the first giveaway on the channel to celebrate the birthday, I'm giving away an electric propagator. There is a choice of 2 propagators. The garland 4-top, which is the one I have, or if you're tight on space, you can obviously choose the windowsill version, which is the 7-top. And to enter the competition, all you have to do is be subscribed to the channel and pop a comment below with the hashtag LauraPickMe. And that's as simple as it is to enter. I will announce the winners in next week's video. So I'll be cutting off the comments on Sunday so that I can obviously then go in and film whoever wins. And that is as simple as that. And it's just my little way of saying thank you to you guys for supporting me this last 12 months, because I really, really do appreciate it. So good luck, everyone. Put the hashtag LauraPickMe and subscribe to the channel, and you'll be in for a chance for winning it. And just to clarify, this is worldwide, so I'm prepared to ship the propagator wherever it is. So if you're in Australia, if you're America, no bothers at all. Just obviously bear with me when I am shipping it so that I can obviously get it to you guys. So this is the current status on Seedling Corner in the tiny garden. So everything definitely needs a little bit of water, but I have most of my flowers along this side. So I've got some helichrysum, some calendula, some more calendula, some snapdragons, some strawberry marigolds, and then down here is an array of everything. So I've got some chamomile, phlox, cosmos, which are looking very leggy, some dahlias, some lupins, and a bit of comfrey. The comfrey is going to go up to the allotment so that I can use that as a little feed. Got some more flowers here, which are some wild pansies. Then I have some veggies, so I've got some spring onions, spinach, beets, onions, or spring onions shall I say. I've got some more silver skin onions, and I've got some lettuce, and then that's another salad tray that's at the back. which is some more lettuce and some more spring onions. I've got my absolutely beautiful broad beans. Aren't they gorgeous? So they're going straight in the ground today. I have my sweet peas. They haven't done much since I pinched them out. Now they have gotten a little bit more bushy, so they have got 3 sort of main stems now rather than just the one. So I feel like where I thought they were going a little bit stagnant, they were actually pushing out some more bushier growth, which is super, super nice. And then I just got a little tray of celery down here. Looks so cute, doesn't it? I potted that up yesterday. Looks so good. This desperately needs potting up. So these are some brassicas, some sprouts and some collies. And then I've got a few little pots of herbs there. So parsley, coriander. This is some more coriander. I was gifted these little broccolis from my plot neighbour, so I bought them back just to look after them. So that's Seedling Corner. I do have a load more seedlings indoors, so like my warm season stuff, so like aubergines, tomatoes, that kind of thing. So they're all going to stay in there for at least another month and a half, I would say at minimum. It won't be towards the end of May that I bring those out. And then I have some more warm season stuff to sow, so like my bush French beans, and I have some squash and some courgettes to sow. So I haven't sown any of those yet because it's just that little bit too cold. But yeah, that's my little update on Seedling Corner. I did put out a little Instagram post to say, do you reckon I've got enough to fill the allotment? Tracey from Tracey's Allotments and Vlogs came back and she was like, absolutely not. Sow the whole packet. So I'm going to take her advice and I'm going to get sowing. As soon as I release some of these pots, I'm going to sow some stuff straight back into this because I don't think I have enough, and I'm definitely going to take her advice because she's got a fab little growing space. It's time to start building a frame for my sweet peas. I rescued various rolls of mesh and fencing from the allotment, and I have decided to go with the larger roll of mesh for this project. It's much more sturdy and it has a nice green coating, which I think will help blend the frame later in the season. I have attached some garden stakes to the wire mesh. These are 150 centimeters in length, and I have secured them with some zip ties. With the frame in place, it is time to plant out the sweet peas. These are called Wild Italian, and I may have possibly overwatered them since they've been inside the house because the leaves are looking a little bit pale, but I hope they will bounce back now that they're in their final growing positions. Moving on to the pea frame, I have decided to go with an A-style frame. I think it will maximise the space in this long bed and give a beautiful height to the garden later in the season. I have threaded some garden twine between the bamboo stakes to give the peas something to hold on to as they start to grow. I have 4 Mornge 2 plants here ready to go straight in the ground, and the rest I will direct sow. I'll be sowing 2 varieties this year, the first one being Golden Sweet and then the second one called Shiraz, and I'm really looking forward to those 2 different types of colours in the garden this year. I'm going to give these a good water in. Thank you so much for supporting my journey. Best of luck if you've entered the giveaway, and I'll see you in next week's video when I announce the winner. See you then. Bye.